Hey everyone, very excited that you're trying the yoga or fitness portion of La Petite Yogi. Just a few words of advice before you get into the workouts. If you're new to yoga, you might want to watch through once or twice just to get a feel for what I'm doing and listen to the instructions. As you go through the workouts, make sure that you listen to your body. If something doesn't feel right, back off. Take any modifications. I try to give modifications for each pose, so you don't need to go in as deep a stretch as I do or move in a certain way. Just kind of go with what feels good for your body and have a good time. Okay? So have fun, good luck, and I hope you like it. Thank you. Okay, so this is a nice yoga hip flow you can do if your hips are feeling tight or tense. Let's sit in an easy seated pose, hands resting on your thighs, eyes closed. Take a few deep inhales and exhales, slowing down your breath, slowing down your mind. Inhale your arms all the way up over your head, and as you exhale, you're going to drop that left hand down, walk your fingertips out. Reach that right arm up, you can roll around, working through any kinks or tightness you might have. Inhale both arms all the way up, and you're going to walk those right fingertips out, lengthening through that left side. Feels good, you can roll that arm forward and back. This helps to loosen up your shoulder joints. Big inhale up. Now we're going to bring our arms behind us, stretching out your chest and your shoulders. If you want, you can drop your head and lift your hips. If not, you can just lean back. Inhale as you bring your arms up, walking your fingertips out in front of you. And you don't have to go so deep. You can just stay on your fingertips, or if it feels good, you can stretch out a little further, swaying side to side, rolling back and forth. This might feel good on your hips, upper back, lower back. Inhale as you come up. We're going to come into a tabletop position. So spread your fingers nice and wide on the mat. Make sure that your wrists are aligned with your elbows and shoulders, knees hip distance apart. Exhale as you drop your belly, look up. Inhale as you arch your back. Do a couple cat-cows here. You can sway side to side in your cat-cow, loosen up your lower back if it's tight. And just do a few of these in your own breath. Flowing the inhales and exhales as you sway your belly down and arching your back. So feel good, easing any tightness in your upper back too. Now we're going to take our left leg and with your knee bent, we're going to wind it around almost like you're stirring a pot. And then reverse direction. This is great to loosen up the hip joint, warm it up a little bit. And then we're going to extend that left leg out. You can even wind your ankle around. If you want, you can reach back, grab that foot, get a nice stretch in the quad and in the right shoulder. Extend out, drop those toes off to the right side, looking over your right shoulder. And then we're going to bring it back again, do the same thing the other side. So taking that right knee bent, wind it around, loosen up that right hip, switching direction, going the other way, extending that right leg all the way out, staying here, reaching back, grabbing that foot, getting a great stretch in that left shoulder, and then dropping those right toes to the outside of your left foot, looking over your left shoulder, and then bringing it back. Now we're just going to sit on our heels for a little bit, extend your fingertips out, taking a few deep inhales and even deeper exhales. Stretching out the lower back. Now we're going to come back and push back into a downward facing dog. And if your hamstrings are a little tight, you might want to pedal your feet back and forth, loosening up your feet, loosening up your hamstrings, stretching your back, coming on your tippy toes, dropping your heels a few times, maybe even bending your knees. Stretching back, and then slowly walking your feet up to your hands. Slight bend in the knees, rolling all the way up to the top. Inhale your arms up, stretching through your fingertips. I'm going to lengthen out those sides, so reach those left fingertips up. And then switching sides, bringing those right fingers up. Inhale up, and then gently folding all the way down to the ground. Palms don't have to reach the ground. You can bring them to the shins if you want. We're going to step our feet about hips distance apart. Hold on to opposite biceps. Slight bend in the knees, and we can sway side to side. This is nice to loosen up your lower back. Now we're going to step back into plank. So reaching, extending, gently dropping your knees, lowering down onto the ground, coming into a gentle upward dog or cobra. Just swaying side to side and then pushing back into a downward facing dog. Pedaling your feet. We're going to extend that right leg all the way up in the air. Bend your knee, opening up that hip a little bit more. Breathing through any tension, drop that down. Now same thing the other side, extending through, bending that left knee, opening up your hip on that side. Dropping that foot, slowly walking your feet back into your hands. Inhale up halfway, fingertips on the mat, or you can bring them to your shins. Exhale, coming down. And inhale, sweep your arms all the way up to the top. And then exhale, slowly folding down, slight bend in the knees. Now we're going to step that left leg all the way back into a low lunge, just rocking back and forth, loosening up that left hip flexor. Dropping the back foot, inhale up in your low lunge. You can do whatever you want here. You can lengthen, take a nice side stretch, roll your arm around. You can take a back bend. I like to stretch out my sides. Even take a nice gentle twist, holding onto your right knee, grabbing the back of your left thigh. And then coming back, we're going to stretch out that right hamstring. So make sure that your heels are in line with one another. You don't have to go as deep. You can use a block as well. Stepping back into plank, gently lowering down onto your belly. Inhale as you come up into your baby cobra or up dog. Rolling back and forth. And then exhale as you push back into your downward facing dog. Pedaling the feet. Inhale that left leg all the way up. Maybe bending that knee, opening the hip, and then stepping that left leg all the way through for your low lunge. Rolling back and forth on your back toes, releasing the top of your foot. Taking whatever variation you want on this side. Sometimes our bodies are more tight on one side than the other, so you need to just listen to your body and do what feels best. Taking a back bend or a gentle twist. Now we're going to inhale our arms all the way up. Drop your hands down to the mat. And we're going to bring that back foot forward a little bit. Make sure your heels are in line with one another and just fold over that front leg. Stretching out that left hamstring. If you need to put a slight bend in your knee, you can do that. Now planting your hands firmly on the mat, we're going to step back. Make sure that your core is tight and strong. Gently lowering down. Inhale into your baby cobra or up dog, and then gently pushing back into your downward facing dog. Hopefully your hamstrings are feeling a little more loose. And your lower back, stretching back. Walking your feet towards your hands. Inhale up halfway, lengthening through your lowered back. Exhale down. Gently inhale all the way up, slight bend in your knees, extending through those fingertips. Now we're going to interlace our fingers behind us. Get a nice shoulder stretch. Gently lower down, slight bend in the knees. If this doesn't feel good, you don't have to do it. You can just do a gentle forward bend. It's a great shoulder stretch though, loosens things up. Planting your hands down, we're going to step that left leg back, but now with our right leg, we're going to scooch it over to the side and angle your foot off to the side off the mat. Reaching that right arm all the way up, extending through your fingertips, dropping your knee, releasing the top of your foot, and then gently pushing that knee out to the side, opening up that hip. If you have space, you can grab that foot, opening up and looking over your right shoulder there. Coming back to center. Now we're going to come into a lizard pose, so be mindful of what you're feeling in your body. If your hips are more tight, you might just want to stay up with your arms straight, fingers spread wide. You can even place your forearms on a block. And then we're going to step back into plank, lowering down, release the tops of your feet. Inhale as you come into your up dog, rolling around. Exhale as you lower down, pushing back into your downward facing dog, pedaling the feet. Inhale as you lift that left leg all the way up in the air. And then exhale as you bring it through. And do the same thing on this side. Loosening up your foot. Now we're going to scooch that left foot over, angling it out a little bit so your toes are out, your heels are in. Fingers spread wide on the right hand, extending through your left fingertips. Gently drop the knee, release the top of your foot, and gently press on that knee, opening up your hip. Looking over your left shoulder. Feels good, you can grab that foot. If it doesn't feel so good, I wouldn't. You can just hold on to your knee and gently look over that knee and shoulder. Now we're going to take a lizard stretch on this side. So again, you might feel that you have more room to move on this side as opposed to another. Just be mindful of what you're feeling and don't try to push or force anything. Some days our hips are more tight than the other, so maybe today you got it, maybe another day you don't. Now we're going to step back into plank and then gently push back into downward facing dog. Really extending through your fingertips. Now we're going to roll forward into a plank pose. Lower down onto your belly. Inhale as you come into your up dog or baby cobra. Gently lowering down and pressing back into downward facing dog. Breathing fully and deeply. Slowly walking your feet towards your hands. Inhale as you sweep your arms all the way up, reaching up to the sky. Now we're going to grab that left wrist with our right hand, leaning over, stretching your ribs. And then we're going to switch sides, taking another side bend, making more space. Inhale up, interlacing our hands or fingers behind us, getting a nice chest stretch here. Deep, full inhales and even deeper exhales, and gently lowering down to the ground. Now we're going to bring our feet out a little bit wider than hips distance and come into a little squat. If this is no good or you can't go so deep, you could always sit on a block if that's more comfortable. You want to make sure that your heels are in, your toes are out, elbows pressing into your knees. This is a great hip stretch. It's great for your inner thighs. So we're going to drop that right hand down. Just reach your right arm all the way up, extend it out to the side, maybe sway it side to side if that feels good. And then same thing the other side, dropping that left palm down or fingertips, reaching out with that right arm. And then just coming back to center for a moment, taking a deep breath. We're going to drop our hands down to the mat, bring our feet back to about hips distance apart. Plant your palms down, stepping back into plank. And then just moving through, lowering down onto your belly. Inhale as you come in your up dog. And gently rolling down as you push back into your downward facing dog. Feeling loose. Inhale as you lift that left leg all the way up. Bend that knee, open that hip. And then we're going to come through into a pigeon pose. And this depends upon your hips and how tight you're feeling or how loose you're feeling. If you have more space, you can make your shin parallel to the top of your mat. If not, you might want to bring your heel closer into you, making sure that your back leg is straight. And if this isn't comfortable for you, you could always get a blanket and tuck it underneath your left thigh, give you a little bit more space. And you can either stay upright, or if you have more room and you want a deeper stretch, you can lower down. You can even place a block underneath your head. Gently resting and breathing. This is a great deep stretch for your hips. Make sure that you take deep, full inhales and even bigger exhales, and just breathe through any tension or tightness that you're feeling. And then we're slowly coming out of that. Gently walk your fingertips back up. And you can come out of your pigeon any way you want, planting your palms, tucking the back toes. I like to straighten everything out. Maybe shake out that left leg in a three-legged dog, twisting your foot around or twirling your ankle. And then just pedaling your feet, trying to even things out. We're going to do the same thing the other side, extending that right leg. And then we're going to come through with a pigeon on this side. So Again, one hip might be more tight than the other depending upon what you've done in the way of exercise or if you sit a lot in your job. So just listen to your body and do what feels good. Extending, expanding your heart, making sure your back leg is even and straight, and then staying upright or gently walking your hands out in front of you. You can rest your forehead on the backs of your hands or on a block. And not much is going on in a pigeon pose, so you really want to pay attention to your breath, making sure that you're breathing deeply and fully, releasing any tension in your lower back and your hips. And now we're gently going to come out of that, slowly walking your hands up, lifting up your heart, spreading your fingers on the mat, and then you can come out of that however you want. And then bring that right leg all the way up, maybe shake it out. Now we're just pedaling our feet in our downward facing dog, reaching through your fingertips. Now we're going to come down onto our knees. Now we're going to reach our arms all the way up and we're going to take a gentle side stretch. So just bringing your left fingertips down, extending your right leg out. We're going to lengthen out that right side a little bit more, reaching out the side. And then bring that knee back. Lengthening up, inhale, drop those right fingertips down and bring that left leg out, lengthening that left side. Hopefully you're feeling a little bit more loose now. Inhale those fingertips up, exhale all the way down. Now we're going to come back to sit on our heels. Well, what we're going to do is sit on the outside of our left heels and reach over to the right. And this is a great variation of child's pose. It's a great stretch. It'll stretch out your left hip, lengthen the left side, and you don't really need to go so deep. You just pay attention to what you're feeling, and whenever you feel like you're getting a good stretch in that side, just that's the point where you need to be. And then walking your fingertips forward, maybe taking a quick little cat-cow. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So walking your fingertips out to the left and sitting to the outside of your right heel, extending through your fingers. You should feel a nice stretch in that right hip and lengthening through that right side. And again, you don't have to go so deep. Just take deep, full inhales and even deeper exhales. Maybe with each inhale and exhale, you loosen up a little bit of tension in your body and in your mind. And we're going to walk our fingertips forward, stretch back, and now we're going to bring our knees forward, cross at the ankles, and sit back. And we're going to bring the soles of our feet together. And if this is not comfortable, you can bring your feet out in front of you a little bit more. They don't need to be as close to you if that's uncomfortable. And we're just going to walk our fingertips out. And again, if that's not comfortable, you can just sit in an easy seated position upright, and that's a good stretch too. And just gently fold down, and this should feel really good on your lower back, your hips, your inner thighs, and you can even walk your fingertips back and forth in a semicircle around you, in front of you, inside of you. This is a great way to open up your hips and loosen up your inner thighs, extending through your fingers. We're going to gently roll all the way up. Now we're going to take a gentle twist. So bringing your left shin underneath you, we're going to cross your right leg over. You're going to take your left arm all the way up and your elbow to the outside of that knee. And you can grab the outside of your thigh or just keep it wherever is comfortable. And bring your other hand behind you like a kickstand. And when you're doing a twist, you want to make sure that you feel as though you're lifting from the crown of your head and you have good posture. It should feel great on your hip. You can take a counter stretch. Twists are also really great detoxifiers. And now we're going to come out of that. You might want to shake your legs out a little bit before we go into the other side. So bringing that right leg under you, left leg on top of it. Again, and then reaching that right arm all the way up outside that knee. And keep your hand in stop sign, or if you want to grab that thigh. Other hand behind you, lengthening through the top of your head, making sure that your posture is good. Breathing. Again, you should feel a nice stretch in your glute, in your hip. And then coming back for the counter stretch. And now we're going to come back to center. Maybe shake that out a little bit too. Bring our legs out in front of us. And we're going to gently hold on to the backs of your thighs as you roll down onto the mat. And we're going to bring our knees into us, bring the soles of the feet down, and we're going to take our left ankle, cross it over our right thigh, and come into a floating pigeon. Grab the backs of your right thigh. If this is too deep for you, you can always keep your foot down and just keep your legs crossed. If you have more room to move, you can always bring your hands outside your shin. Just, again, listening to your body. If your hips are tight, you really need to take things gently, and eventually more space will come. And then we're going to cross our legs, come to the outside of that right hip, placing your hand on your left knee and looking over your left side. Gentle twist. Softening your inhales and your exhales. Now we're going to come back to center and unravel. And then do the same thing on the other side. So taking that right ankle and placing it over your knee, reaching over and grabbing either the back of your thigh, front of your shin, or just having your legs crossed. Breathing through any tension or tightness. You can even extend your leg if you want a deeper stretch. And then we're soon going to take a gentle twist on this side after you take another deep breath. So crossing your legs and coming to the outside of your left hip, twisting over to the side, grabbing that knee, and then looking over your right arm. Softening your breath. And then gently coming back to center. And now we're going to take a happy baby pose, and this is something, I've seen so many variations. I've seen my own kids do it many different ways as babies. So you can grab the insides of your feet, the outsides of your feet, the tops of your feet. This is a wonderful hip stretch. If you don't have much space, you can even grab the outsides of your shins if that's more comfortable. And just rock side to side. And this is kind of a fun pose. This is actually a pose I get the most laughs in class because people fall off to the side or they fall over, and it's just fun. If you want, you can even grab your feet and extend your legs. This is a great stretch for your inner thighs. Just being mindful of what you're feeling in your body. And then we're going to hug our knees in really nice and tight. And then exhale, extend your legs out to the sides, arms overhead, just taking a moment to take a breath. Soak in everything that you practiced. And gently coming up, however feels good, you can push yourself up to an easy seated position. Legs could be crossed or one in front of the other. Inhale your arms all the way up. And thank you so much for practicing hip flow with me. I hope you feel great and enjoyed it.